Ward 3, this is going to be the last ward because Ward 4 is an uncontested race. That's Charles Durio. He's running for re-election there uncontestedly, and so he will get that position. The last one we're talking about here is Ward 3, and then we'll just move on to the BISD trustee election. I don't know why on this agenda down here I put District 1, 2, 3, and 5. The only contested election for BISD trustee for the BISD Board of Trustees is District 3. So that's the only one we're going to be talking about down there. So we got Ward 3 for the City Council and District 3 for the BISD Board of Trustees, and then we're good. We're almost done. Ward 3 is like the north end and like downtown. It goes all the way up like from the saltwater barrier, if you know where that's at. If you've ever been to the Nature's River saltwater barrier, and like where like Academy is, it's like up in that area, and it comes down to Magnolia Park, and then downtown, and then past the Jefferson County Courthouse to like the Carlton Pollard area. Carlton Pollard, this area. The representative for Ward 3 historically has been Odwin Samuel. For 35 years he's held this position, but now he's running for City Council at large. So he's freed up this position to be run for by new people. The two options you have in the council member for Ward 3, not Ward 2, sorry. The two options you have for council member for Ward 3 are LaDonna Sherwood and Terry Preston Roy, or Terry Roy. LaDonna Sherwood also is like a weirdly highly qualified person for this position. She has a master's degree in public administration, which is what she would be doing. I think that sounds awesome for people to be actually educated in the field that they're running to occupy. That sounds great. She has a master's degree in public administration from Lamar. She's the owner of LL Trans LLC, which is a non-emergent medical transportation company. It's like ambulances, but if you don't have an emergency. And Nell's Place, which is a club downtown, apparently. She's the corporate compliance officer for Aspire to Dream, which is a organization that helps young girls in the foster care system. Sounds like a great organization. She is endorsed by the Firefighters Union, and this is the one other candidate that is also endorsed by the Sabine Area Central Labor Council. Both of those are real big marks in her favor, I feel like. Having union support feels like a really good thing for candidates. One of her priorities is fiscal responsibility. She says, and this is I don't know, this sounds like Odwin to me, and I don't really know. I haven't been able to find which one of these candidates Odwin is supporting. I am personally against Odwin, and so I kind of want to know like which one of these people is Odwin kind of picking as his replacement. I haven't been able to find that that's the case at all. I would think that he would want some say in who runs for his seat that he's held for 35 years, but I haven't been able to find that anywhere. And I don't know which one of these candidates Odwin supports or endorses, but this kind of sounds like Odwin to me. She wants fiscal responsibility, and she says, I attended a workshop on the budget, and it is in fact in surplus. It is not in a deficit. How? Your math ain't mathin'. LaDonna, I'm sorry. I don't. The only thing I can think that she means is the way that Odwin Samuel means, like, oh, people say that it's a budget deficit, but it's not actually a budget deficit because the city worked to change the city's definition of what a balanced budget is to mean if we go into a deficit and we use funds from the rainy day fund to cover the deficit, that's not technically going into a deficit. And so if you think of like all the money that's in the rainy day fund, like our deficit doesn't cover the amount of all of the money in the rainy day fund. And so therefore you could count that as a surplus. That's the only thing I can think that she means. but this is weird logic, to get to a point that I kind of appreciate, where she says, I'm not a conservative spender. I'm a responsible spender, and I do like that. The city should not be more efficient. We don't want efficiency. Efficiency with like ambulances means that we are only using a number of ambulances that is going to be as cheap as possible, even if that means that services aren't as awesome. Like efficiency with like the local tax office means that we only hired 2 people to run the windows, even though that means that the lines are going to be, 3 times longer. Efficiency is a bad thing in city administration, in my perspective. And so we shouldn't be conservative spenders. We should spend responsibly, but we should spend money. I think that's a positive thing, to spend money to provide services to our citizens. Let's do that. So she makes a good point here, but she has this weird logic that feels weird to me. Also, because she's involved with like this Aspire to Dream, and she's like a counselor or something. She's involved with something else with kids. One of her big priorities is youth engagement. She aims to enhance public safety through programs that engage and support the youth in the community. I don't know how she really plans to do that, but that's one of her priorities. The other option for Ward 3 is Terry Roy. He worked delivering medical equipment for Harbor Hospice Healthcare. He did that job for like 10 years, long time. And he served for 2 years on Beaumont's Parks and Recreation Committee, so Parks and Rec guy, which kind of gives him perspective. Whenever you hear him talk, he's only talking about infrastructure, like all the time. Infrastructure, his top priority. And he does sound knowledgeable. Like if you go and you watch the debate between him and LaDonna that Channel 6 did, he keeps on hitting the infrastructure horse. And whenever he talks about it, he talks intelligently. So he sounds, fiscally responsible, I guess. He says, I've discussed critical issues with the head of the Water and Sewage Division, and I'm aware of the issues we face when it comes to the declining sewer system. So he's like already doing the work to like engage with the people who administer these services to begin with. He also like has this point that like it takes honesty with the citizens of Beaumont to say our city drainage is not in the shape that it should be, and it's going to take a lot of money to get us there. We need to, as a city, rally behind spending this money to provide the citizens of Beaumont with better services. So, I mean, that sounds positive. He talks about it in a positive way. Concerning the potential bond proposal in the fall, remember the bond advisory committee is looking to see what we should spend a bond on, which is ridiculous. And remember, David Moore is on that committee. Concerning the potential bond election in the fall, he says, none of it should be spent on downtown development, which I like that forthrightness. Every candidate is like, revitalize downtown, revitalize downtown. That's all they say, and none of them have ever done it. I think maybe let's talk about revitalizing downtown and then actually do it. But I do appreciate being like, screw downtown. It's too big of an issue. It shouldn't be a priority. Let's do something else. And so I like him saying concerning a potential bond election, none of it should be spent on downtown development. In my opinion, the majority of it should go towards infrastructure. He likes infrastructure and public safety. That sounds great. If we're going to take out a bond election, like I said, I think that we should spend money. I don't like that the way that the idiotic tax system works in our state. That is going to make all of our property taxes go up, which is going to impose a higher burden on low income working class people than it is going to be on wealthy people in our city. But I think that we should, like, I like the idea of a bond. I like the idea of spending money wisely to actually fix issues like infrastructure. And I just like his forthrightness here. He also says, until we get people to actually live downtown, you're not going to have too many businesses that's going to come in and succeed. totally accurate. And that's a part of what I was saying at the beginning of this presentation concerning downtown, is they want to like artificially inject these businesses downtown that only last like a year because nobody lives downtown. And so at the very least, Terry Roy is looking at the issues of downtown in an intelligent way instead of just constantly throwing up like flashy policy proposals. We're going to make a river walk. We're going to make a riverfront park. We're going to make a blah, blah, blah downtown. It's going to be incredible. We're going to build a whole hotel. It's a giant state-of-the-art convention center. Why don't we talk about downtown in a realistic way that might actually lead towards change? And Terry Roy is like one of the only candidates doing that. So that's cool. I like Terry Roy. Those are your two options for council member for Ward 3, not Ward 2. LaDonna Sherwood and Terry Roy. Whew. Last category,